Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining me again today. Well, the biggest mistake that anyone could make in the 2024 U.S. presidential elections would be to underestimate Donald Trump. That would be a mistake. It's been done before, but he has ways of maneuvering and manipulating situations that defy what anybody else could ever get away with. Whether you look at his impeachment trials, the criminal charges against him, his civil cases, he just has ways of pulling things out that just shocks everybody. Now, Trump may act a buffoon and have many convinced that he's lost it, but he can be a pretty shrewd operator. And I've got concerns as he hits the campaign trail about just what he's trying to pull off and whether it may or may not be effective in giving him an edge on Election Day. He may just be trying to pull off a Kansas City shuffle.
What's a Kansas City shuffle?
Kansas City shuffle is when everybody looks right. You go left.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's not something people hear about.
All's on deaf ears mostly.
After a pretty slow start and some initial confusion when Joe Biden stepped aside, Trump is back out there on the campaign trail, very active. And he's been showing up in some rather unusual, unorthodox, and surprising, at least for him, platforms and podcasts, being interviewed by some pretty well-known influencers and content creators. And that's the theme of this video and what we're going to talk about. But to get started, we need to review the situation out there today, where we stand in the elections and how things are looking at this point in time. Now, it's pretty obvious to everybody that since Joe Biden stepped down, the dynamics of the U.S. election campaign have changed dramatically. Everyone's caught up in Kamala mania. People are energized. The polls are shifting. She's moved from being behind to being ahead. And all indications are that Donald Trump may well be on his way to losing another election. But still, after all that, all those polls are all still within the margin of error. Trump may be down, but he is not out. Recently, I published a video that was called What Happens If Trump Loses? It was pretty successful, and I want to thank everybody for watching it. There's a link down below in the description if anybody wants to see it. But I had some concerns looking back at that video because of some of the comments that I got. Overwhelmingly, the most common comment on my video, and there were hundreds of them, but over and over and over again, people kept saying, it's not a matter of if he loses, but when. You know, people are just presuming that he's going to lose. And I don't know if that's the case, because to tell you the truth, it's a lot closer than most of us want to admit. Despite this great wave of energy and support for Kamala, maybe, just maybe, overconfidence is creeping into the picture. Sure, Kamala's well ahead in the polls, but polls change. And also, getting more votes than Trump nationally doesn't make a hill of beans difference. It's going to all come down to the Electoral College and which candidate can put together the 270 Electoral College votes that are needed. And much of that will be decided in the battleground states, which are heavily impacted by a number of identifiable demographic groups. Trump seems to be losing ground with women, suburban women, blacks, and Latinos. He's well aware of that, and he could be trying some things to reorganize his campaign, trying to focus on different voters groups, and we've got to watch what he's doing and keep an eye on it. We may be seeing the emergence of a new group, something that I'm calling now the Donny Bros. Remember back in the 2016 Democratic primaries between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton? We saw a group that was known as the Bernie Bros. Writer Ellen McCarthy described a Bernie Bro in the Washington Post on March 12, 2019, saying that they were an online agitator, a millennial misogynist, a leftist know-it-all, clothed in self-righteousness, and with some sort of stupid hat. Now, with just a few small changes, I can modify her description to explain what a Donny Bro is. Same way an online agitator, a millennial misogynist, but a right-wing know-it-all, clothed in self-righteousness, and by the way, also with some sort of stupid hat. And instead of being an unwashed anti-capitalist with bad manners and a mob mentality, they would be an unwashed capitalist with bad manners and a mob mentality. That's my take on it. Despite the generation gap, Trump's campaign is fully leaning into the world of live streaming and some of the macho, often rebellious channels and spaces that attract and are dominated by younger male audiences. Platforms like Twitch, Kick, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram have all become key parts of their outreach. The former president has teamed up with some of the biggest names in the influencer world, guys like Theo Vaughn, Sean Ryan, Lex Fridman, Aiden Ross, Logan Paul, and even Elon Musk. These personalities, with their bold and unfiltered content, appeal to the kind of audience Trump's campaign seems to be targeting: young men who gravitate towards edgy, larger-than-life online figures. Look, in many ways, Trump is a fake god to a lot of young men. They envy his fame, wealth, and social life, with seemingly countless attractive younger women. And many young men aspire to that kind of a life. This approach by Trump is definitely creative and maybe out of desperation, but only time will tell if it's effective or not. Now, at first you may think that the 78-year-old former president would have very little in common with most of these internet personalities. After all, they're from completely different worlds. Trump even admits that he only more or less understands live streaming on social media. But he acknowledges that it's all part of a new wave and credits his youngest son, 18-year-old Barron, with helping him to better understand these new trends. "My son told me about you," Trump said to Aiden Ross. He said, "Dad, he's really big." I do know this much: Trump sure hasn't impressed young female voters, thanks to his and MAGA and his media partners' attitude towards the world's most famous celebrity and role model, Taylor Swift. He sure is going to need the young male voter, because I don't think he's going to get the young female voter. It's so hard to tell what affects final election outcomes and by how much. You know, back in 1992, the presidential election of 1992, there had been 3 successive Republican victories, landslide victories, and you had Bill Clinton running against George Bush, the first George Bush. The campaign changed when Clinton made a groundbreaking appearance on the youth-based Arsenio Hall nighttime program. He played his sax on the show, and it went over really well. He was perceived as a cool dude, the kind of guy you'd want to have a beer with. Young people seemed to really like it. And when the results came in and Bill Clinton won, many people attributed to that appearance, which helped him to cement the minority and youth votes, which made a huge difference in that election. Well, that's a wrap. I'd like to thank everybody for spending the last 10 minutes with me. You know, these are really challenging times in America and in the world. It's important that everybody keep themselves informed of the issues and the controversies and act accordingly. I've had this channel going for a while, and I really enjoy making the content, but I couldn't do it without you guys, the viewers. So if you feel so inclined, please subscribe to the channel. You can see right up there how you can do it. If you're looking for the next video, you can see that over here on the side. And if you're looking for a playlist, a suggestion of videos to watch in sequence, that's over on the other side. Once again, I'd like to thank you all. Please have a wonderful week, and please come back and enjoy my videos. Have a great day. Bye.